we couldn't imagine the impact we would have, because at that time people wanted connection. They couldn't see their mum or they couldn't see their daughter. So we really bought in, we hit the market at the right time and kind of created a little safe community.
Yeah, the mother and daughter thing, I think, touched a lot of hearts at the beginning. Anyway, I don't know if it's still going on. But we get a lot of people saying, "Oh yeah, I'm like that with my daughter. I'm like that with my mum."
Hello and welcome. I'm Elizabeth Formosa, the founder of Fashion Equipped and devourer of all things fashion, business, and mindset. In this podcast, I'm speaking with thought leaders, change makers, and entrepreneurs about the business side of fashion and everything in between. Fashion Business Mindset is your front row seat to real stories from designers, brands, entrepreneurs, makers, and mentors. We'll discuss how to launch and grow a fashion business and give you insider access to the future of fashion. So let's do this together and ensure that you're equipped to make the fashion business your business. Welcome back to Fashion Business Mindset. As we near the end of our 2025 season and celebrate 5 years of the podcast, I'm excited to share a meaningful milestone with you. Today on the podcast, we're celebrating 40 years of Motto, a long-standing Australian fashion brand that continues to evolve, innovate, and inspire. I'm joined by two incredible women who have shaped Motto's story across 2 generations. Faye Browne is the co-founder of Motto Fashions. Faye began her career as a buyer for one of Australia's biggest retail fashion chains before launching Motto with her husband, John. For 4 decades, she has been the heart and soul of the brand, a mentor, a leader, and an unapologetic champion of women expressing their individuality. At 70, Faye continues to reinvent herself and inspire others, staying true to her edgy style, her authentic voice, and her mission to empower women to feel fabulous at every age. Lauren French is the CEO of Motto and Faye and John's daughter. Lauren spent her early career travelling the world and working in high fashion before joining the family business in 2007. Lauren was the visionary behind Motto's digital transformation, building what has become one of Australia's strongest eCommerce fashion communities. Lauren is an award-winning entrepreneur who leads with creativity, heart, and a deep commitment to redefining what modern leadership looks like for women, balancing business and motherhood. Together, Faye and Lauren have turned Motto into a true Australian legacy brand, one that blends family values, bold design, and powerful community connection. In today's conversation, we dive into Motto's origin story, how Faye and John built a fashion business from scratch in the 80s, the digital pivot, how Lauren transformed Motto from traditional retail into a thriving e-commerce brand, running a hybrid model, the role of the physical stores alongside a powerful online business, the daily live try-ons, how this innovative format became a masterclass in community, trust, and conversion, intergenerational leadership, the mother-daughter dynamic that drives the brand forward, longevity in fashion, what it really takes to stay relevant for 40 years, empowerment, identity, and personal style, how both Faye and Lauren stay grounded, authentic, and aligned as leaders, and what's next for Motto, the vision for the next decade of innovation and growth. Faye and Lauren's story is one of reinvention, resilience, and radical authenticity. It's a rare insight into what it takes not just to build a brand, but to keep building one for 4 decades. I enjoyed every minute of my chat with Faye and Lauren, and no doubt you will too. So let's dive in. Lauren, Faye, welcome to the Fashion Business Mindset podcast.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for inviting us.
Now, congratulations on an extraordinary 40 years of motto. How does it feel when you lean into those 40 years?
You know, it just feels like yesterday. I can't believe it's 40 years. Am I really that old? No, never. It's just been so much yesterday too. It was so exciting the whole time. I think because of the constant change. Maybe that's fashion in any case, or maybe it's just the way we do fashion.
Yeah, well, it's passion.
It's passion.
It's
Yeah,
definitely passion.
It is passion, not fashion.
I love it. Everything you do is certainly passionate, and it comes through in every single thing you do, from product to content. But before we dive into motto and how the business exists today, Faye, I'd love for you to wind back the clock to way back to the beginning. And I'd love for you to share with our audience how Motto started. What did those early days look like when you and John decided to take that leap and build your fashion business?
You know, I was in my early 30s, and I guess everybody at that stage thinks, yeah, look, I can do this. It's the absolute arrogance that you just don't get it. You're naive, like you just don't know. So you just jump in head first. And once you're in, you're in. You can't actually go backwards. Okay, so it was the middle of a recession. Everyone said we were crazy. What were we thinking? But we were just so passionate. And, you know, when I looked around, everybody was a clone. And I didn't like being one of those clones. And I thought, okay, there must be others like me, really. John and I always talked about how, you know, it was so easy to get women to just love what they were wearing if they knew what they were wearing, if they really felt like they were part of it. And that was our clue. Yeah, that's what we want to do. And that's where we took the first step.
And what was the key kind of elements of the DNA way back in the beginning that you've kept running through the business to today?
But we really want to make women feel confident in their clothing. That's always stuck right from the very beginning. It hasn't changed, which is interesting because I just love change, and I thought I'd just keep on changing everything. I mean, I'd change a lot of stuff, but that one has always stayed there. So important. It's important for me, and maybe that's why it's so real for me.
Yeah. So important. And I think that's definitely something that you do that's unique to Motto, is you're empowering your amazing, loyal community to dress with confidence. And of course, you offer them amazing products, so much variety, and we're going to get into all of that. But before we do, Lauren, I'd like to shine the light on you. Now, you joined the business back in 2007. And you led Motto's digital transformation at that time, long before most retailers were thinking about online first. I'm sure it was quite the pivot for the business. I'd love for you to share what that pivot looked like and what were the biggest learnings back then, transitioning from pure play brick and mortar into the digital space.
It was really hard. It was very, very hard. And I think it's because I had no idea about tech whatsoever, but also the skills weren't really in the market. Like when you talked about a developer back then, like Shopify wasn't a thing. I don't even know if they were in business. So everything was very customized, custom built, and no one knew how to do anything, including me. So there was a lot of self-learning and self-photography, and even like Google wasn't what it is today. So it's hard to actually think back how different the world was. I knew how to use a computer, but I wasn't a technical person. I wasn't like didn't have a digital mind. I was very creative. So it was a real struggle at the start. And I remember, because I was still living at home when I was 19 when this all happened. So I had a great job, and I had a lot of success there. But then I sort of was feeling like, what was the next step? And Mum said to me, well, there's this online thing that people are talking about, and do you like
time is what I said. Now's the time.
Yeah, like, do you want to come and take it on? And I thought, who's going to shop online? What? That's weird, but all right, well, why not? Like, I had nothing to lose because I didn't have any bills to pay. I could just go and do what I wanted. But then fast forward like 5 minutes, I was knee deep in like developer talk and landing pages and all this like real technical stuff. But I absolutely loved it. But there was still, for a really long time, there was still a stigma, I guess, around shopping online. So just to transition the world when maybe they weren't quite ready it was a stretch, because most women thought you had to try clothes on.
Yeah.
So everything was a first, even doing returns and returns policies, and people weren't doing that in their day-to-day. So there was a lot of hurdles, but we certainly got on the road and learnt a lot early, so we could really stay ahead of the pack for a long time, but even now.
Yeah.
Again, it's because you knew absolutely nothing that it made it really a great place to start.
Didn't know how stressful it was going to be.
Yeah.
I remember literally sitting on my bedroom floor some nights and trying to get the computer, because the website would crash, or all these things that I didn't understand. And I actually remember crying because I was so frustrated, because I wasn't a developer, and I was like trying to be the developer on the website. I've got this fresh burnt into my brain. I don't have to do that anymore. I'm no longer the developer. Thank you.
Good to hear. That's one role you've been able to pass off. So it sounds like there was no internal conflict then, Faye. It was your idea. So it was your idea that kind of sparked this whole.
Look, we already had an online store, which was nothing. We were one of the very first, lost a lot of money because it was going nowhere. It took 10 years for Lauren to come along and say, hey, because by then it was time, and I just knew it. And that's why I was encouraging Lauren to take it on. And I knew she'd be good at it. You know, she didn't have a clue, but she was going to be good at it. I didn't have a clue either, my dad. And it was just perfect. And no conflict. I love being part of it, but Lauren just took it on like it was her baby, and that was what was right about it.
Yeah, amazing. So that was around 18 years ago. What was it like kind of in the early days, Lauren? Like, how long did it take to gain some traction where you thought to yourself, all right, this online channel, it's on fire, it's got potential? Was it like, a year, 2 years, 5 years?
Look, it was probably a year.
Wow.
It was a year, but but in that was a lot of like technical, boring stuff. But the biggest transformation probably happened about 13 years into the business, or into the online business. So yes, it was a self-sufficient business. It was an important part of the Motto branded family, but our bricks and mortar stores were always the heroes of the show and drove the momentum of the business really up until, I'm going to say, around COVID-ish time. And I'm sure this happened to a lot of people. But so that was 13 years of being, the e-com store was in the back seat of our bricks and mortar, which were the heroes of the company. And then COVID happened, and it flipped incredibly fast. And I got to run the show.
I know.
That's when I got to be the boss.
Not that there's any power struggle going on at all. No, of course not.
You'd think, Lauren being my daughter, you'd think there'd be something there, but you know what? We just get on so well right from the start.
Yeah, and even Dad, because Dad's still in the business as well. No other siblings. I think if there was siblings in the business, that would be
have a bit of shit going on.
The way we structured, it's a bit boring, but the way we actually structured the setup right from the start was we are all individual companies. I do not work for Mum. Mum does not work for me. So actually what I do is...
She keeps telling me that.
Well, you do, but you don't, technically you don't. So we can make our own decisions without having to justify an answer. And I actually think the secret to family business, money can cause problems. The secret for us was that was never on the cards. I was responsible for my income. Faye and John were responsible, or the decision makers of how they operated their business. We actually operated as two separate businesses side by side, and no one knew until I'm telling you right now.
Amazing.
Secrets out.
Yeah, secrets.
Yeah, that is a big secret, because it sounds like one of the very, important keys to success, because it can get a little bit messy. Now, you've mentioned John. We'd love to know, what is his role in the business today? Let's do a shout out to John.
All right, well, shout out to
Can I just start with that? He said to me one day, this business wouldn't have happened without me. Okay, there it is. It's there.
Well, so he's here. Thank God he's here, right?
Thank God.
So at the moment, John, he oversees the operational warehouse operations and production operations. But he's a bit of everywhere, and he's here full time, and he works actively in the business, but he really does take on quite an advisory role with me and Faye, because we are both very creative, and we're like, shoot for the stars, let's dream big, let's do that, let's go there.
Yeah, we say, stop getting that hammer and squashing us.
Yeah,
do it.
Get out of our way.
And he said, hang on, how are you going to do it?
Yeah. So
he injects a little bit of commercial reality, a bit of grounding.
Here's a reality check. Yes, thank you.
We're the dreamers.
We do the fun part.
Yeah, we need dreamers in business, and we need those people that come in and a little bit of a reality check and grounding. So it's a great combination. It all works in synergy. Now, you touched on the stores before. I'd love to chat about how that store dynamic looks today. As you said, you kind of flipped it to a digital first kind of business, but I believe you're still running 5 stores. So how do the stores show up today? Like, what's the plan around physical brick and mortar going forward? Are you thinking about maintaining the stores? Are you thinking about any expansion in the future or changes? And how do you balance that from an operational perspective between digital and physical?
I'm surprised how easy it is. It just flows. The stores are really there for customers who really like to go in and feel and try on. There's still a lot of that out there too. They really support each other. And online, do you want to cover that bit?
Yeah, well, I kind of see it like the stores, they're only in Melbourne, so we don't have stores everywhere. And there's only 5 in the scheme of things. But that's where people can build connection, build trust, understand the motto concept. Whereas online for us, that's like our adrenaline engine. That's how we are going to grow, scale. The world is limitless. There is no barrier in our place. Stores, you do have a barrier because you've got a geographical barrier. No one's going to drive 3 hours, unless they're doing a special trip to a store. You don't have the network and the opportunity of people, even though they do play such an important part.
Yeah. And
it helps with the community too, I guess. Really sorry for.
No, absolutely. I would agree with that. I guess, they're your loyal customers coming in. That's your team at the coalface that's representing Motto day in, day out. So an important part of the ecosystem for sure. When you look at those stores, like if you were to take the pulse on brick and mortar retail right now, like what would your diagnosis be based on your experience at Motto?
In terms of how they're going to play a part in retail?
Well, how physical brick and mortar is performing, because there's a lot of mixed opinions out there. We see lots of brands still opening stores, month after month. We're seeing like Kavari, for example, rolling out stores. So there's still a lot of growth that we tend to see from a high level perspective in brick and mortar retail. Other brands have different experiences and they're maintaining or they're pulling back. But with such a long-term history in brick and mortar retail, how do you see that landscape just from an industry perspective?
Well, I think it really depends on your business strategy, because both will work. You can flood the market in terms of location, and due to convenience and exposure, you can make it work. But online is the same. Whether or not you're investing in a shop fit and staff, marketing's not cheap in e-commerce. You don't get a free ride to have an online store. You can either be a store in an amazing location and have traffic and convert that way, or you can be a great shop in a really bad location, which is in the web. You're in a bad location. You're not getting foot traffic unless you're paying for it. So I think it's just a completely different model and perspective. You've got to have a deep pocket to open up a lot of stores in one hit. So they're probably backed by some form of investment. But that puts limits on you. I think I get a real kick out of having the world at your fingertips. But someone who's probably got a bit more of a traditional approach to business would probably see a lot of safety in bricks and mortar. So I think it's just how you see it. I don't think it's one or the other. I think both can work. It's what lights you up.
Totally. I also think that one supports the other, because if you have an online store, it gives you a lot more credibility having bricks and mortar. And if you do have bricks and mortar, wow, you can stretch it so much more with an online store, and they promote each other. I don't know if you can do one on its own anymore. I mean, I know there are a lot of online stores that are on their own, but really, I think that's hard work.
Yeah,
you got to pay for it. Yeah.
I work with a lot of pure play online stores, and I think they've always got that dream to have a physical presence, whether it's one store where they can physically see their entire collections manifest in one space, I think there's always that desire, but then of course, there's commercial viability side of it as well. As
And
you
it
said,
brings headaches.
yeah, I
Really,
mean,
it does.
they both have, different challenges. And as you said, it's a bit of a false economy to think that, it's any less expensive to acquire a customer online because there's all of the marketing costs just as there is with store overhead. So as you said, if you've got a business where they work in synergy, I think that's the best case scenario. So anyway, congratulations on you still keeping those 5 stores going, which is amazing for, as you said, the customers that want a physical presence, they've got access to Motto in that format. And I know that you've got long-term staff that have been with you for many, many years, your loyal kind of crew on the ground representing Motto in those stores as well. Now, I'd love to flip the switch to you ladies in the media. Now, your live try-ons have become absolutely iconic, and I think that's how Motto came back onto my radar. Been off my radar for a little while, and then see you ladies on screen, and you definitely stop the scroll because you're so entertaining. And I think with your live try-ons, it's part entertainment, part education, part styling, so much fun. You always bring the high vibes. So I'd love for you to share what inspired this format and why do you think it's resonating so deeply with your audience?
We love it. It's so much fun, isn't it? It gives us energy. So we figure we're giving the energy out when we do that. Yeah. Well, do you want to start with that?
Well, the reason we started was because of COVID. So all of a sudden our bricks and mortar, couldn't have any, because we're only in Melbourne, couldn't have any connection with our customers.
Yeah.
So really the decision was made very much on a whim. There was about 10 minutes before we just said, okay, we've got this idea. All right, let's do it. Let's do it right now. That's how we roll. We can cover that later. We're very fast paced.
Yeah.
And it was the chance for us to bond and give a deeper connection with our audience. That's something we always did because we've been doing it. Faye's been doing it for 40 years. It's not new. I remember going to physical fashion parades in stores when I was 5. So that's continued on, but doing it online gave it an amplified presence that we couldn't imagine the impact we would have, because at that time people wanted connection. They couldn't see their mum or they couldn't see their daughter. So we really bought in. We hit the market at the right time and kind of created a little safe community.
Yeah, the mother and daughter thing, I think, touched a lot of hearts at the beginning. Anyway, I don't know if it's still going on. But we get a lot of people saying, oh, yeah, I'm like that with my daughter, I'm like that with my mum. So I think it just really, it's a bit of a heart thing.
Yeah, amazing. And then if we look at the commercial side, what has that brought to your business in terms of, driving traction in the business, customer engagement, trust, retention, all of those commercial dynamics?
Well, it's brought all of those things, and it's hard to actually quantify because COVID happened at the same time. Our shops closed, therefore all of our customers essentially became online shoppers. It's hard to know exactly what changed what, but what we do know is that it has deeply fulfilled us. It's brought us closer to our community because we weren't as front-facing as we were then, and it's been a lot of fun. But not only that, we get to try our product on in real time.
So if we do our shopping, we say.
It is. But we're experiencing what our customers are experiencing. We're not doing a whole lot of prep for the lives. It's very impromptu. We're seeing how things work together. We're going, oh, hang on, we've been in the warehouse and we can't find a black jacket. Oh, we don't have enough black jackets. Or hang on, we can't find anything in our size. Oh, we look at data as well, but actually shopping as the customer would gives it a whole different perspective. And I think it's a very rare gift to be able to listen real time to what your customers are saying as you're trying your product on as the two designers.
It's actually like being on the shop floor.
Yes, it is.
You say, oh, this belt goes with everything. We better get more belts like that. It really is. Yeah. It's like us being in their shoes.
Yeah.
Amazing. I was going to ask you how much prep went into the lives, because it actually seems like a lot of prep would go in, but you said it's quite impromptu. So you're just you're really like vibing off each other. It seems quite natural. You'll change up the styling just on a whim on the live. And it seems fairly organic. It just rolls fairly organically.
It is. I think because we do it every day, it needs to fit into our world. With all content we do, we can't stop work and then do this big show because of the amount that we do. It needs to be easy, and that's everything that we do. Everything has to be simple because we don't have enough time. We're working 24 hours already.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the passion. If we didn't love it, it just wouldn't happen.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. What is it like? Well, what was it like in the early days showing up in front of the camera? Like when you hadn't done a lot of this kind of content, How did
We
it
were
feel?
really bad. We were bad.
so
We
bad.
don't watch them.
Yeah,
We don't
no,
want to
I
scroll back.
think I'm embarrassed to go back. As soon as I go back too far, I can think, no. Actually, I don't even want to go back to last year.
No, no,
or even
right.
last month.
No.
I think, oh, what was I thinking?
But you know what?
Yeah.
We don't look back. I think that's probably the point. Like back
That's the
then,
point.
it wouldn't have been as good, obviously. We've now got 5 years of doing it every day under our belt. But in 5 years' time, we'll be better again. So we just go with the flow. We're ourselves. It's not pre-arranged.
No script. We're bad if we have a script. We tried it once.
We tried
so bad.
Faye won't follow the script.
I never follow a script.
She won't follow the script. I'm not even going to waste my time with the script. So yeah, so it's just very organic and natural, and that's how it gets better.
Yeah, amazing. And I think what you mentioned before, ladies, about trying on your product as well. And you're kind of, you're getting intel as you're doing that. So you'd be looking at the fit, what works with what, as you said, what's missing in the collection. I'm not sure how many founders or business owners would actually be doing that at the level that you are doing. So that's quite a unique element that and I guess powerful strategy that you have in the business. Maybe it didn't start as a strategy, but you can use it to iterate in the business as well now.
Yeah, we've learned so much from our customers and vice versa. We've been able to develop our range very quickly because we've been able to bring our customers along for the journey and educate them on, hey, this is trending. You might not have tried it before, but now they will try it, and it actually opens up a whole new category mix for us.
Yeah.
But if we just put it in the shop or just put it on the e-com store without showing them how to wear it, it wouldn't land. Then we're not going to repeat. We're not going to expand on it. So it's just like legs of opportunity all over the place.
That was one of the big wins, I think, from doing our lives, the fact that we were not only teaching customers how to dress and doing it ourselves, everybody was learning, the staff, like we're all suddenly on the same page with everything. Because before that, the staff would, style their own way. Yeah. And all of a sudden it was their thing, not a motto thing. I think that's...
And we do training.
A big plus.
A lot of staff training, but we don't need to now because they're on the journey with us in real time.
Yeah, I love that. So many benefits from one commitment to a piece of content. But I now see that you're expanding your content and you've got a little YouTube channel happening. I'd love for you to tell us about that. I think
we've actually just started a reality, our version of a reality show. I don't know if that's what you're talking about, but we've just streamed episode 3. Yeah. And I think we're just ultimately what we're trying to do is try new things. That is something really important to us. The lives have been so successful. Normally we would have moved faster and developed different things really quick, but because they've been so great, it's kept us there. So I'm like, no, as of 2026 we are trying this sort of idea we've had for a while, and so the reality version has just kicked off, and it's about what goes on behind the live streams, because the live streams you're just seeing one little piece of the puzzle, but all the fun, interesting stuff actually happens in our day-to-day. And again, even though we have to tell the story for a camera, it's more acted than a live, I suppose it is. But it's actually what goes on here in real time. So I think that is pretty fun for people to learn what goes on in a fashion company, because it is fast-paced and it's chaotic and there's a million situations. You're dealing with customers, you're dealing with people. It's unpredictable. So it's been really fun bringing that in, and I'm very excited for that in the future.
Well, it's a lot of fun to watch, and I loved the Black Friday episodes as well, like the real and raw behind the scenes, and the stock challenges. Even though you've got an amazing sales result, it causes other challenges or pain points in the business, and how you're solving those. So I think it's a great blend of the behind the scenes, some really light-hearted content as well, which I think is really important and educational for those of us that are interested in the business side of fashion. So well done on those episodes. I hope you keep them going, because I'll be taking a front row seat, that's for sure. Now, I know that it takes a village to build a business like yours, so I'd love to dive into behind the scenes in regards to your marketing team and your dynamic marketing strategy. So I'd love for you to share, what does your powerful marketing ecosystem look like? Who's on the team, and how do you keep coming up with these amazing ideas that are keeping your brand fresh, relevant, and constantly evolving?
Well, I don't know. Some people say we've got a lean marketing team of, 75 people. That's definitely not us. But we have a small team. We hire for creativity and bold risk takers. That is people that do very well at Motto, mostly, especially in the marketing space, that's the kind of section of a business that can be quite bold. We want people to take risks. It's very, very important to both of us that we bring those people along, because that is what Faye and I are like.
Yeah.
So our team is encouraged to try new things. We don't always get it right. No brand will, but I prefer for them to go out with a bold idea that is a little bit of a risk than to not try at all. So that is what we cultivate as a culture here. Our marketing team, it's a small team. We've got a graphic designer, social media manager, marketing and eCommerce person, and a performance marketing person who handles all of our paid ads. And that's it. And then it's Faye and I. So we're passionate about creating content. We're passionate about being ourselves and what we do. And I think because of that, everything comes out naturally. We're exposing ourselves to as much as we can, but I keep my blinkers on for anything related to fashion. I don't know what other fashion brands are doing, and I don't care, and I don't want to know. What I want to know is people that are not even in our industry, who is making waves? How has the e-car become such an enormous talking point? How has all these things that have no relation to fashion? That's what I'm looking at, because as soon as I look at other fashion brands, I'm comparing what they're doing and what I'm not doing. I'm looking at that mountain over there going, oh my God, look at them, and forgetting about the mountain that we've got. So I cut out the noise. For me, looking at competition, I know people do it, and I see that it might help some people. I get rid of the noise, get rid of that distraction. I don't want to know what they're doing. I want to know what is happening in the future. How is AI transforming business? Because that's what gives both Faye and I our spark. Travel and fashion and exploration, not comparing. That's, I think, part of our marketing strategy, because we've always got new ideas.
Yeah, going on an adventure holiday really blew my mind as far as creativity goes, and, what next, rather than going into a store, really.
Yeah. I don't want to go and walk around Chadstone to get ideas.
No.
I want to go and walk around Amazon, if you'll have me. I'm available.
I can't see that happening soon.
Damn it.
We'll just put that
the
out.
Amazon, not that Amazon.
No, the Amazon.
The Amazon.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, I've just been trekking in Nepal, so I couldn't agree more.
Wow.
So what have you learned? So if you look back over the journey in terms of a marketing perspective, what are some of the key learnings, and what will you be taking into 2026 and beyond, and what will you be leaving behind, based on being laser focused on what's working and perhaps what hasn't in your own business?
I think we will be leaning on more authenticity and being ourselves and being very transparent with customers. That feels like it works really well for us, and it won't work for all businesses, but for us it feels right. Being our true selves, I think for us it's always going to feel right, and it's always going. Some people hate watching us. Some people think we're the most annoying two women on the planet, and that's fine, but we're going to be ourselves. That's going to continue on.
I think aligning ourselves with people that are like-minded is really important to us too. I mean, when we bring anybody into Motto, they have to, I don't know, be us is a stupid way of putting it, but they kind of do. They need to know what we're about to be part of it, and I think that's really important, and we want to do more of that as well.
How have partnerships, creators, advocates or influencers worked for you? Are you looking at those longer term partnerships once you bring someone into the Motto family? Is it typically a long-term relationship? Has that been, a marketing pillar that's been really powerful for you, or how has that shown up in the business?
Look, if it works, I don't think anyone can go in thinking it's going to be a long-term partnership. Sometimes it's the right move, and sometimes it's not. So a long-term partnership, I think, is good in some senses, but if you want to get a lot of eyeballs on your brand, you need to actually make sure you've got diversity in your mix if we're talking about a creator. But then on the flip side, we've had and a lot of creators stick around for a long time, and that's just natural because we just enjoy each other's company. And if they don't, it doesn't mean we haven't wanted it to. It just hasn't worked out that way. But we've done some great work with some brand ambassadors, and normally they're, that celebrity level more so than, someone who's a relatable person, like an influencer sort of thing. We've got a really exciting one coming on board, and that's always a little bit of a longer term strategy, because it's not an obvious fit necessarily. When you're using an influencer, I think it can be, use them once, great, people expect fashion from them, they're going to come on board. But for example, when we had the Julia Morris ambassadorship, that probably wasn't predictable to people because she's a comedian, she's not a fashion girl. So that required a little bit more of a longer alignment. So it just depends on the person, or depends on what they do.
You don't want to announce who that is? You heard it here first, Lauren?
We can. It's Yelena Dokic.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
oh, wow.
yeah.
That's
very
amazing.
exciting. Fearless energy, her reformation, her courage, her confidence, her sort of, in a lovely way, her FU mentality to what people think of her. It could not align more with who Motto is.
I was going to say, she's so Motto. Everything about her is Motto. So we're pretty excited about that.
It's been a natural alignment because she has been a customer of ours for a couple of years. So when she's passionate about the brand, we're passionate about what she does. I'm really excited for what this will bring.
Amazing. Congratulations. That is super exciting. When can we expect to see that rollout?
From Jan 1st next year, and we're aligning on some pretty cool, we've got sort of some new collections and things like that really will talk to who she is as a person. So there's a lot of opportunity coming. But again, we work very close to the minute. So we haven't even designed March next year, and it's now December.
Yeah, it's still evolving.
We like to be quick.
I love that pressure.
Nimble, we call it. Yeah. Nimble, or maybe you're slightly unorganised, but it's organised.
It all works out in the end.
Yeah, very quick on your feet, ladies. Well, congrats on that collaboration. That's so exciting. Now, I would love to shine a light on the Motto customer. Now, who is she today? How has she evolved over the journey? And just, get us inside her world and why she remains so loyal to Motto and no doubt enjoys everything that you ladies put out to the world.
The thing I hear most from ladies today, I don't know about when it started, I can't remember that far back really, is that Motto changed their world. It changed their life. It transformed their life. And I think that's because we give them confidence in themselves, and that shines out of the clothing. It sounds pretty cliche, but it really does. And then they live it. It's like giving them permission to be who they are, permission to be a powerhouse, permission to really, stand their ground, to, it's just so empowering. And that's who we are.
And it's sort of like when people find Motto, this is very common, they're in that stage of their life where they're kind of ready for the V2 version of who they are. Mm-hmm. Sometimes their kids have kind of just moved out, or their kids have started high school, and so all of a sudden you've got a bit more time to think about yourself, because I've got little kids, and the mums, they're often inactive because they've got to be on the move and they've got a baby on their hip, and you've got to be very practical. Well, all of a sudden when you don't have to be that person anymore, you don't even know who you are because you haven't been that girl for so long.
Yeah, you lose yourself really by then.
It's like time to shed a skin, and you're stepping into this more powerful, confident, unapologetic vision of who you want to be. And you can be a little bit more experimental, and you're not shy of it. You're proud of it. Whereas maybe the stage prior, you were looking around and seeing people do it, but you couldn't do that because of X, Y, and Z. Yeah. So that's the Motto girl. She's always stepping into this new moment for herself.
Yeah, I love it. And no better place to rediscover your style as to turn up to one of your lives, because it's pretty much a done-for-you platform. Which is what I absolutely love about your content. And it's so creative as well. Like sometimes I'll watch and I'm like, I never thought of putting that with that, or accessorizing that way. And Faye, you just take it next level. Like you really push the boundaries, which we absolutely love. I might have to pull it back a little bit from my personal side. I don't think I could pull off what you do, but I'm sure there's plenty of women out there who could and are having a go. So absolutely love it. Now, I know everyone who's going to be tuning in is going to be thinking 40 years. 40 years. I'm not sure how many brands are out there that have made it to the 40-year mark. I'd love for you to share what you both feel the keys to longevity in our industry, and what are some of the key themes that you just think are non-negotiables in business to keep a brand going and no doubt to iterate as the years go on.
My favourite is evolving, constantly evolving. We could say evolving every day, but obviously it isn't that, or is it? You're just always tuning into your customers, and that just keeps you moving forward. I reckon that's my main one.
And I think mine is to treat, and I've slipped up on this a couple of times and I've learned from it, which is why I'm saying it, but treat every single day like you've been given the biggest gift of a lifetime to actually have a business that can, fingers crossed, be profitable and pay you. That is actually a gift. The minute you start thinking that it's a given and you've got it in the bag,
Dangerous.
it's coming for you. So you've got to stay very humble and remember that these things don't happen on their own. It was not luck. You have a very special gift from the universe and you're in charge of nurturing that and never becoming too confident with it, because other businesses are just as smart as you. You've got to stay ahead and you've got to keep being very thankful and considering every decision you make, not being fearful, but is that the right decision for the business? Not is it the right decision for Lauren or for Faye? You're here to be the voice of the business. You're not here to have an ego.
And it's never about money, I think, because, if you're in business just to make money, that sort of that goes downhill very quickly as soon as you make mistakes in any case. But it's really there about something that's going to keep you there. It's easy to start a business and then it's the end. I mean, to stay in business, you have to be there for the long term and forever. It's like, for me, just never give up. And when it's a bad situation or a no, well, that's just for this minute, and then move on to the next thing. So, and at some point, if you keep doing stuff, it'll work. Something will work out. I remember when we were having a tough time in business, and I don't know, maybe it's 20 years ago, and we were in such a bad situation. We thought, oh no, it's the end, and we put out 6 ideas and everything worked, and the rest is history.
But you could, and even actually pre-COVID, I remember COVID happened in the March and I had a baby in Feb, so I was at home and things were so difficult with Motto World. It was, we were always going to survive and we'll always get through because we hustle like you wouldn't believe. But I was kind of thinking at that moment that if this virus comes, I don't think we'll make it. And
I thought it was the end. Come on, we all sitting
there. It was the end. Because we didn't, at that point, we didn't have the right foundations behind us to take a blow like that. And all it took a lot of things, but all it really took was for us to get on a camera and live stream to someone who might watch us on Facebook, and the trajectory of our business changed. Now, we could have done that 10 years prior.
Yeah.
And you can do one little thing. And you know what the craziest thing is? The biggest ideas are free.
Yeah.
That's what I've learned. They don't cost.
Actually, that is a great tip. If you can do it for free, why not?
Yeah.
We didn't have to pay ourselves.
It doesn't work. So what? Really. Actually, that's one of the secrets of business when John and I first started. If it's free, let's do it. Because we didn't have a lot of money to start with at all. So that is maybe the biggest secret.
Amazing. And really,
everyone.
It's out now. I mean, you really had to put yourself out there as well, which is not easy. You've tried something new. You didn't know if it was going to work, but it was the right time, I guess, to try something like that. But you've also remained consistent. Like, some people might have done that for a few months, maybe a year, and they're like, I'm done with these lives now. Like, we're going to go off and try something different. But you've consistently shown up, and I think that counts for something. There's a real return on resilience there, which I think, a lot of people would run out of steam a lot quicker. But, you've remained committed, and I don't think it would be easy, even though you do bring the high vibes and there's a lot of fun and, it's a great format for your listeners. I'm sure there are days where you think, I don't really want to get in front of the camera today.
Most days. But as soon as we do it, we are in the best mood. It's like, I call it like going to the gym. Like, you're dragging your feet because we're in the middle of other stuff. And then when someone comes and tells us 10 minutes to and goes, girls, come on, get into the live studio. That's literally what happens. And I'm like, but we're in we're going for it.
No, sometimes she says, can you do it on your own today? And then she comes in.
But then afterwards, it's like you've been to the gym and done a workout. You're so happy. So it is really good. But You do have to stay consistent. I agree, but it comes from passion. You can be consistent when you're really passionate. That's how you're here for 40 years. We love it.
Yeah,
It all
absolutely.
comes
And
down
you've
to
got
that.
and you've got each other as well, like to
Yes.
show up for each other. It's not like, I mean, yes, you have times where you're doing it individually, but you're showing up for each other, and I think that counts for something. And as you said, you might maybe be, not in the great mood, but when you come together and you get into that high vibe kind of format, as you said, you come away from that thinking, yay, I did that. There's another one under my belt.
Yeah,
So, yeah, I think definitely, for our listeners, consistency is key, and you will see a return, on that commitment in any way in business. It could be, any of multiple strategies that we've touched on today. Now, Faye, I'd like to shine the light on you for a moment. You are known for empowering women to express their individuality and to embrace who they are at every single stage of life, which I love. And your personal style truly reflects that confidence and that authenticity. I'd love for you to share, how does empowerment show up, not just in mottos, designs, but in the way that you think, the way that you lead, and that you connect with your community? And are there any personal mindset kind of practices or any daily practices that really help you to stay grounded, to stay confident and aligned with your authentic self? You make it look easy, Faye. You make it look easy. We want to know how easy it really is.
Okay, you want that secret again? Well, to be quite honest, it's a belief system. It really is, because as I've aged, I mean, fashion is always about looking young and gorgeous, and you're not going to be young and gorgeous forever, let me tell you. But it doesn't matter, because you can be gorgeous no matter what, and that's my belief system. And it's like I keep thinking, why can't I just share that with the world? I guess that's just the passion oozing out again. But really, there's something fantastic about every single stage in life. I can say I haven't liked some of those stages, but it doesn't matter, because you get to a fantastic place because you can be who you want to be when it comes to fashion. And that's why I love fashion so much. And everyone can do it. That's the secret. You don't have to be smart. You don't have to be slim and tall. You don't have to be anything that you might have thought. If you change your mindset and just have this belief, hey, I can do this, you can. It's that simple. It is that simple.
Who inspires you, Faye? Like, is there any, are there any mentors or just people out in the world that have really inspired you over the journey? Or are there any books that you've read or anything that you listen to that you get your kind of dose of, all right, that's just taken me next level, now I can share this with everyone around me?
I'm really into podcasts. I used to read a lot, and I would have read every self-help book under the sun, because I believed I wasn't good at anything. And I used to think, okay, get rid of that thought. You're in kindergarten, you're learning. I still have that belief. My favourite podcast is Diary of a CEO, Andrew Huberman. I'm into health. I'm into good food. Actually, it's not much about fashion, which is funny. I don't really have much of that in there, because I want to create that. So whatever I do, I pull together to create that for myself. So who's my favourite person? I have to say people like Jane Fonda,
Yeah.
all the oldies that are great, Cher, Madonna, not for their music. It's because, wow, look at how much they've reinvented themselves, like them or not. I can't say, I'm not going to say I like them like that, but they've reinvented themselves. They're still so relevant. And to me, it's important to still be relevant. I keep saying that to my daughter.
She wants to be relevant. All right, so she's making herself relevant.
I want to keep doing it till I'm 100, and who was it? Somebody said, when you're 100, blood test this morning, nothing serious, just a blood test.
Good.
And my husband said, I said something about, this will be bad when I'm 100. They won't be able to get any more blood out of me. And he said, no, they won't, because you'll be dead. And I thought, what? I'm not going to be dead at 100? Are you kidding me?
You won't be, though. You won't be.
No, absolutely not. I love that you've mentioned some of the icons out there, and you're an icon yourself in our industry. So well done to you for showing up the way you do. As I said earlier, you inspire so many. So we absolutely love everything you do. Now, Lauren, we'll shine the light on you now. You juggle motherhood. You're a CEO. You're the leader of, the business in many, many ways, being the face of such a major Australian fashion brand, now been around for 40 years. We'd love for you to share with our audience what practices, routines, or even boundaries help you stay centered and authentic in your role. And how do you model empowerment for both your team and for the women who look to Motto for style and confidence?
I don't think I have any boundaries, actually, but that could be the secret, because I genuinely, and Faye too, love, love, love what we do. We are living our true calling. So I don't need a boundary. I immerse my personal life and my work life. They are one big blurry line. My family knows it. They love it. They're merged into. For me, certain type of work feels very fulfilling. So it fills my cup. If I feel foggy and stressed, my go-to is to go to Google Analytics, do an export and start backing with the data. That makes that, actually, my husband's like, don't do that at 10:30 at night, but it calms me, because it gives me clarity on what my next step should be, because I've got a creative brain. It's a big spaghetti. Same with Faye. We're both a big bowl of spaghetti, and it just focuses me of what is important. So I don't have boundaries, but that probably is my practice. That's my form of meditation, to just clear the noise and look at some very simple numbers to know where to go to next. And, I empower, my daughter, even my team. You've got to be authentic, and you've got to do what you love. And what works for you doesn't mean it's going to work for someone else. If it's important for you to be at home by 5:30, I'm making this up, no one does this here, but to have dinner with your kids, that is for you. You do what fills you up. For me, that is not filling me up, and my family doesn't need that from me. My family are okay with meeting me at the office so they can wait for me to finish working, and my daughter, who's 11, starts her own little side business on the side. That is how I want to empower people. They just need to do what's right for them, and if you find what fills you up, you will be successful. You don't have to fit into someone else's mold.
I love that, because I find most people are trying to fit into a mold, whether it's, they're going to be part of the 5 a.m. club, or meditate more, or do this more. Sometimes it just brings a whole lot more overwhelm to your life, rather than what it's meant to do, which is the opposite.
Yeah.
So I love that. It's just one big fluid life. So it all merges in.
It's all a big bowl of spaghetti. It's that spaghetti bowl.
Bowl. I love it. Now, same question to you, Lauren. Is there anyone out there that inspires you? Are there any books that you read, podcasts you listen to, anything that kind of keeps you fueled?
So many things. It's hard to say, because there's not like one person that you look at and say, like it's everyone. And like, for me, obviously my mum. She's like boring into me. You better say me.
We were waiting for it.
I'm joking. But any woman around me. But for me, at the moment in my life, when I see mums doing the mum thing, for me right now, that inspires me. Because I'm not that girl, so I really appreciate that. Want to be that girl? No, I don't. No, I don't want to be that girl, but I really appreciate and respect people that probably are putting their career to the side to raise their family. Right now, it's not in my world. That's not in this lifetime, and I don't want it to be, because I'm living what I should be doing. But I just have a lot of respect for other people who have done that. I really do. I have a lot of respect that my mum brought her 3 kids along and sitting under the desks, and she, mum dragged us around. We had other people looking after us, so my mum and dad could build the business that we have today. I have great respect for that, because it's given me the opportunity to make that choice. I'm not bound to this place. I'm not bound anywhere. So because Faye and John, mum and dad, did that for me, they've paved the way. So I have a deep respect for that. So it's those sorts of acts of service, I think, that I can really appreciate, when people are doing something for the greater good.
I love that. It's purpose-led work that you're doing.
Yeah.
As you've said, you feel like you're in the right place. Nothing's holding you there. So that is your passion, your purpose, and you're living what you believe is, I guess, your destiny, isn't it? And it has been from when you were a little girl. Like the DNA of the business has been there from kind of day one, which is amazing and inspiring.
Maybe that was my plan when they were under the table. Brainwashing.
You're like, who's it going to be? Who's going to be the next CEO? Come on. You won the draw, Lauren. Well done, Faye. Well done. All that plotting, it worked. Now, let's touch on the future of Motto. Let's talk about, 40 years and now beyond. So as you enter this next chapter of Motto's story, What can we expect in, say, 2026 and beyond? Are there any new initiatives, new categories, or marketing innovations or collaborations? You've already mentioned some of them. Any shifts that you're super excited about? And ultimately, where do you want Motto to land, say, in the next decade? Big question.
There's a lot of things that we've got in the pipeline, but they're very early stages. So I think that the AI revolution probably will play a huge part in our future. And we're very early adopters to technology, Faye and I personally. So I do think that the way we do our live streams, the way we're running our version of the reality show will progress dramatically. I would love everyone to be able to watch us in the room with a pair of the meta glasses and feel like they're sitting in front of Faye and I and actually watching us like the VR headsets do. But I'm getting back. It's like I'm getting back to my roots. I'm going to have to code it myself. I don't know how to do that. But there's all those, there's a lot of AI innovation. It's a little bit secretive for now because we're still working through it, but there will be a lot of AI and digital transformation that's in a totally different scale to what you're seeing now. That's our future.
I love that. I love that you're on the forefront of technology and there's so much happening in the AI space. And what you've mentioned is not too far away. I mean, we could basically be doing that now, right? Popping on our headset.
I hope so. I've got to work that out. We need a pair.
Come into your world and do our virtual try-ons. It's possible. The technology is there. As you said, it's just, it's the how to make it happen, how to implement. But there's so many amazing AI experts out there now. So it's definitely the forefront. I just hosted a industry panel at the Global Sourcing Expo a couple of weeks ago, and AI was pretty much 90% of what we discussed on that panel. So many exciting things. And I think, again, just speaking about, earlier, what are the keys to longevity in business? And a big one is remaining relevant. And this is all part of it. So I love that you're looking to adopt that technology. Now, for those tuning in that would love some advice from both of you ladies, they're sitting there thinking, wow, they might be a few years in, they might be 10 or 15 years into their business, but they might be thinking, okay, if I could pick the brains of Lauren and Faye, what final advice would they leave me with to be able to make it long-term in this industry? What would you share?
Keep evolving. Don't be shy of things that you don't understand. Look at you. Oh, look at me too. I didn't understand anything. Yeah, never give up. Go where other people won't go or can't afford to go or too scared to go. Go to those places because that's where you really benefit.
Yeah, God, there's so many, isn't there?
I know.
Can I say a boring one? You said all the good ones.
No, I did. You say the boring stuff.
The boring stuff is just make sure that profitability is on your radar, because making a decision that will send you into an unprofitable moment, even if it's for a short period of time, can really kill your business. So don't take that risk. Until you've got bucket loads of cash behind you, you need to make sure you've got some money.
I just want to add to that.
I know.
You want to add to that? Do the free things first.
Okay.
Yep.
Good advice.
Has to be. Yeah. Has to be.
Love it. Yeah, love it. Two very important points there. Absolutely. I mean, the cash flow is the lifeblood of the business. So we've got to be focused on profitability and really understand our numbers. And I love, do the free things. Sometimes we don't think about it. We think we're going to throw money at absolutely everything. But often it is that organic content or strategies that really are most powerful.
And often people are just looking at sales. I just thought of another thing. The three things that I look at, and you can't look at them in isolation, and there are more things you can look at, but to keep it really simple, sales, profit, and cash in bank. They are the only three numbers that I want to know. I don't care about anything else, because if one of those feels a bit off, that's when you go digging. So that could be really good advice for someone. And usually if you're on your own, it's pretty easy to figure that out. Once a month is fine. Sales, profit, cash in bank. They're the only three things that matter.
Absolutely love it. Great advice. Now, ladies, to finish off, if there was one thing that came to mind that really still excites you about the future of fashion, what would it be?
Wow, we're full of ideas here, aren't we? Everything. I want to say everything.
Well, that was a big question.
It was a big
question. I'm excited about evolution.
Yeah.
Because it's never standing still, and we like to change every minute. Like sometimes we just do 5 different outfits in a day. So evolution is what I am excited about.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited about the fact that it only takes one thing to make a massive difference.
Yes, I like that.
And it's just your outfit for the day and changes everything.
A motto outfit.
A motto outfit, of course.
Yeah,
No, I can't.
yeah, perfect.
No, but really, you change the colour of what you're wearing and it's changed your day. I'm actually serious about this.
That's true.
Yeah.
Because I find that every day, So why not give it a go, hey?
Yeah.
Wild.
Go
It's-
wild.
we're blue.
Go nuts.
Yeah.
Go wild, turn up to the next Motto Live and, just get out of your comfort zone with your styling. Add some colour, add some accessories, add some platforms, and away you go.
Big platforms,
Bigger the better.
Bigger the better.
I love it. Thank you, ladies. Thank you so much for joining me on the podcast. Thank you for being so generous with your time and your knowledge on such an amazing 40-year journey. Congratulations on everything you've achieved. We cannot wait to see what you do next, and we'll be following along with the front row seat. So thank you, and good luck for the rest of the year, and here's to 2026, bigger and better.
Thank you. It's been lovely to chat. Thank you so much.
Thank you for tuning in to Fashion Business Mindset. We'd love to stay connected. Fashion Equipped is a leading Melbourne-based consultancy, partnering with fashion and lifestyle brands, retailers, wholesalers, and industry leaders globally. We specialise in strategic advisory, growth planning, and brand elevation, empowering fashion businesses to scale with confidence and impact. I invite you to head to fashionequipped.com.au to join our mailing list and receive the monthly edit, your go-to source for industry insights, business optimization strategies, and free trend reports. While you're there, explore our consulting services, our online learning and mentoring programs. We'd also love to connect on Instagram. You can follow us at Fashion Equipped and at Fashion Business Mindset for more industry insights and inspiration. We're here to help you navigate the business of fashion and take your brand to the next level.
This is a Guide Your Light network production, creating podcasts with purpose.